Constance Mwakima. He's the Community Relations Officer at Wildlife Works. Please, a round of applause. We have Constance Mwandaa, Ranger and Head Training from Wildlife Works. Next up, we have Jane Okoth, Media and Communications Officer at Wildlife Works. And last but certainly not least, we have Captain Kenneth Ochieng, who is the Senior Assistant Director in charge of Tsavo Conservation Area from Kenya Wildlife Service. All right, so let's get right into it. Joseph Mwakima, you have been working for Wildlife Works for 11 years now. So what would you say are the biggest challenges that the community faces today, and how does the project partner with the community to address them? Can we get some help with this? Thank you. I'll come to you.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Hello, everyone. My name is Joseph Mwakima. Sarah said, I'm working in the Kasigau project area for the last 11 years. Part of my work is to work with communities within the Tsavo Conservation area on issues concerning conservation, talking about climate change and its effects, and how the Panelists project comes to mitigate those impacts. So I think the question is what are the challenges and what roles does the project play? Number one, first thing that we need is to sit down with community members and landowners before we live in the project area to first identify those focal issues that needs to be tackled through the Panelists project. And in that, we were able to come with a list of the things that we will start with and how the process for the Panelists project will be able to be invested so that it can tackle those issues. So some of the issues are just local a number. One is education. We all agreed together with community members that for us to continue well and for the future generation, we have to invest in education. And in that, we are through the Panelists project, we've been able to support students within the project area to access quality education. This is providing bursaries, education bursaries, and sponsorships. And this has provided opportunity for students who never thought that they'd be able to achieve their educational goals. We've been able to support more than 20,000 students with bursaries and sponsorships, and in that, it has created a very positive change within the project area. The other issue that we identified was issues concerning water. We live in a semi-arid area, and water is a big challenge. But through the process of RED+, we've been able to work together and partner with community members. And in that, we've been able to invest in water projects. More than 10 water projects currently have been able to do. This is more of building water storage tanks, extending water pipelines to areas that have never seen clean and safe water. And in that, it has played a key role. Other role is on health issues. We've been able to partner with different stakeholders for the county government, the national government, and I'm proud to say that we were able to facilitate a modern laboratory, the Moi Referral Hospital in Tsavo County. People used to go up to Mombasa, but now they are able to access laboratory services within, and this is something that we are proud of. The last thing is job creation. We live in an area that is very arid, and getting a job opportunity is usually a big thing. But through Wildlife Works and through the project, community members, more than 350 local community members have been able to be employed, and this has created a very, very positive change within our project area. Thank you.
I'll move on to Constance. You've been a ranger since 2011. That's 11 years. So can you tell me what it's like to be a ranger? And we've seen that you have a no guns policy. I hope that mic is working now. Can you tell us about the thinking behind the no guns policy?
Okay, thank you. I am Constance Mwandaa, Ranger, and also the head of training in wildlife works. Can I talk about how to become a ranger? Or I talk about the no guns policy first?
Whichever you would like.
Okay, I'm a proud ranger. I'm a free ranger working in conservation, and I'm proud of it. And also, I'm also concerned about how wildlife animals live in coexistence with human beings in our community. Thinking about the no guns policy, we have this community that we are living in, and we have the no gun policy, which was implemented by the wildlife works. Thinking about it, we go back. I come from a community where we live peacefully in our communities. So the gun no policy was put in the fact that the communities that we live in, if we could go back like rangers with guns in that community, it will appear like we are bringing threat to the community, and that was not the thing that wildlife funds wanted. Wildlife funds wanted that to empower the communities back, to put up what the communities are protecting and conserving. That's why there's no gun policy in wildlife funds, and we are living with it since wildlife funds was invented until now. And we have our next coexistence that we live with. KWS are there. If you want to arrest people, if you want to do anything else in the wildlife funds or the Red Plus project, we call upon the KWS to come and assist us and help out with those things.
That's great. So I'm going to jump to you, Captain Kenneth. So how does the KWS work and partner with conservation partners such as Wildlife Works in the Tsavo Conservation area?
Thank you, Sarah. Good evening, everyone. My name is Captain Kenneth Ochieng. I represent Kenyan Wildlife Service. I'm the Senior Assistant Director responsible for the Tsavo ecosystem. The Tsavo Conservation area is one of the largest conservation areas in the Republic, as the conservation during the introductory part by our Director in charge of partnership. It's a landscape that covers close to about 42,000 square kilometers. The protected areas that we have in that landscape are three. The three protected areas are Tsavo West National Park, Tsavo East National Park, and Chulu Hills National Park. We also have a number of conservancies and ranches, totaling to about 33 conservancy and ranches that fall within the Taita County. All this is blessed by a huge population of wildlife, and we are supported by various institutions and organizations that work with that landscape. It is our mandate through the Wildlife Act 2013 that we must work in collaboration with all the agencies, all the stakeholders, for the purpose of protecting, conserving, and managing the wildlife in that area for posterity. It is a goal or a responsibility we are given under the Act, the Constitution, and this we have to do it wholeheartedly. In the last year, we have a number of partners that operate in that area. Wildlife Works is one of them. And for the purpose of ensuring that wildlife is protected, environment is protected, everybody that resides around that place is also given consideration. We are having an elaborate working condition, in this case, a well-structured engagement in the name of Memorandum of Understandings. These are embedded in our Act, and we operate very closely with most of these institutions to ensure safety and security of wildlife in the landscape. So we have a number of those MOUs that we deal with. Apart from Wildlife Works, we have an umbrella body called TTWCA. It is an umbrella body that oversees operations and management of wildlife in the private areas, that is in the conservancies and in the ranches that neighbors the protected areas within Tsavo Conservation area. So the umbrella body is responsible for ensuring that the MOUs are enforced so that we work in tandem with what the law says as far as wildlife act is concerned.
And Constance had mentioned that in case they need to arrest someone, they call you guys. So how would you approach an emergency situation where an animal needs to be rescued or they're suspecting maybe poaching or something?
As I mentioned, KWS is mandated by the law to oversee protection, management, and conservation of wildlife in all the 8 conservation areas within the Republic. What we do, it is our role, duty, responsibility to ensure safety of wildlife. In case we have a scenario of poaching incident or a rescue of any injured or an animal that is in dire need of support, it is my responsibility to coordinate and supervise such an operation. We have command centers that engages every organization or institution that is responsible for wildlife management in that. We have various, as I mentioned, we have various institutions, apart from the wildlife works, we have various institutions that are responsible for management of wildlife outside the protected areas. So I oversee the role, I ensure that I coordinate just to make sure that we are not giving room for any illegal activities like poaching. For rescue situations, KWS comes in to ensure that wildlife is protected. We have a whole unit that is responsible for the welfare of wildlife across. So in case we have a rescue situation, KWS in the first place ensure that the mobile teams that is responsible for rescue is established, put in place, and then I liaise with other partners that may have the expertise or any resources that might be required to ensure that the rescue is successfully and professionally undertaken.
Thank you very much. Ms. Jane, so as Media and Communications Officer, you highlight stories that communicate the conservation partnership with the communities in the Kasigau corridor. So why is it so important to amplify community voices in the conversation about reducing climate change?
Hello. Thank you for the opportunity, Sarah. Guys, my name is Jane Okoth. I work at Wildlife Works Kasigau Corridor Red Plus Project as the Media and Communication Officer. We have to amplify the community voices when talking about solutions related to climate change, because it is the community who are there in the forest. They are part and parcel of the forest. It's the community who are guardians in that forest. They have been protecting that forest before, and also sometimes we can find them to be a threat to the forest. So if we have to make any decisions regarding the forest and climate change, we have to involve them. Secondly, I also think when it comes to effects of climate change, it's these communities who are affected the most. So when we have to have a conversation on how to address those issues, we have to give them a table. We have to bring them on board. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll go back to you, Joseph. I think everyone remembers when I mentioned that, Mr. Gerald here had said something very fascinating to me. And he said that, we've all heard or even said that money doesn't grow on trees. And I hope, you found it fascinating that in this case it kind of does. So Joseph, I want to ask you to tell us more about the role the community plays in how proceeds of the sale of the carbon credits are spent.
Thank you very much. I think communities play a key role in making sure that the project is standing. Without the community, then there's no project. So they are key stakeholders, and one of the uniqueness about our project is that from the word go, as I've said in that documentary, we included everyone. Everyone was brought on board, came up with decisions and ideas, and that makes this project very unique. Our role is to facilitate, but their role is to make sure that they implement those projects. They are the people who come up with ideas. When we get proceeds, we don't go and tell them you need to build a water tank here, you need to provide bursaries. It comes from them because they are the people who are affected. in one or another by the project. So it is more of a partnership together with them. So they play a very key role in terms of how the project is done, in terms of coming up with decisions, and that makes this project very big. Thank you.
Thank you. Captain Ochieng. So I wanted to ask you, what are the core benefits of RED Plus in terms of supporting the core mandate that is sustainably managing wildlife and resources for future generations?
Thank you, Sarah. Most of the benefits that we realize as an institution from the project, the Kasigau project, one of the critical ones is that as we know that the space is diminishing across the Republic. We have a lot of infrastructural development. We have people trying to develop every part of open space. As an institution, we would want to expand space. We would want to create space. And the project has done enormous work by creating space. 2,000 square kilometers is not a small space. This was formerly an arid land, bare land. But from the project inception up to date, we are happy as an institution that we're seeing wildlife population increasing in that area. We're seeing, apart from the last census that we did, we had an increase in elephant population in the Tsavo landscape, and a huge number of that was within the conservancies and the ranches, of which Kasigau RED Plus project, which falls within Kasigau area, was one of the areas that holds a big number of wildlife. It's a plus to us because we want to create more space for wildlife, and that space is very critical. It's a corridor, wildlife corridor, a migratory route for wildlife that moves from Tsavo West to Tsavo East and vice versa. So we feel happy and delighted to see that more space is being created. So the project has really created a bigger space for wildlife, and we look forward to more of this. Another benefit that we realized that previously there were cases of wildlife poaching in that general area. Significantly, this has reduced because of our regular engagement with these agencies that operate within that area. We provide regular technical support in terms of law enforcement, as you understand that KWS is mandated to protect and conserve wildlife. Regularly, we ensure that their staff, more particularly the scouts, are given the right skills through regular training, which we offer at our law enforcement academy in Kenyan, so that they can be well trained to be able to counter any illegal activities like poaching, issues of charcoal production, which was very severe in that area. So overall, we've seen a significant increase, and it's a big boost in terms of wildlife population. I've also realized that out of that initiative, quite a number of members of the local community have benefited greatly from employment. This is a plus for us because some of the illegal activities that would have been realized out of idleness is no longer taking place because everybody is committed, people have gotten employment, they have now regular source of income. And I think that's a big plus. And as an organization, we're really pushing for more of this. We've also realized that quite a number of research-related activities are happening in that area, and these are supported by KWS. So that partnership has really yielded to a greater benefit in terms of wildlife conservation in the Republic.
Thank you very much. I'll move to you, Constance. What does this project mean to you and to the community?
So I'll talk about what it has done to me. It has given me a job, and through the earnings of that job, I go back to the community and family with it. And for the community, first we're going to start with health. Wildlife First has stipulated with county government, and they have helped out in the community in stimulating labs that they were out there, because most of our community members could go miles and miles looking for health facilities. And wildlife parks have chipped in and helped out. Another thing I'm going to talk about is water. On the documentary, you see we are living in an area of semi-arid areas. In our community, we didn't have water. And now wildlife parks has come and has chipped in. They have given us tanks, they have given us water. Water pipes have been distributed along the communities, and now we are having tapped water there. And also it has created job opportunities for almost 300 plus people who are working with the wildlife works, and I can say that is a great achievement that wildlife works have done, and it has impacted the communities at a whole large level that we think wildlife works is a good goal for us for the Kasigau Red Plus project. And for the community itself, we are going back to the communities and teaching them why wildlife is so important to us, why they have to conserve it, and for our next future generation, so that we can have these animals scrolling all around, so that our grandchildren and our grandchildren can see them. And it is going, I think it is going to be a good effort for us, and also for you guys to conserve and protect wildlife. Thank you.
Thank you. That's so wonderful. Jane, what are the hopes and future ambitions of the community?
Thank you again, Sarah. The future ambition for this community, number one, I would say they want to have an intact forest, a forest where wildlife can thrive in their natural environment. Number two, just to repeat what my colleague Joseph has said, they want to have all the focal issues addressed. The community want to have access to education, access to water, access to health, and they want the issue of human-wildlife conflict addressed, which the project continues to address those issues. And I would say we've done a pretty good job in addressing that, and we're continuing to do that. Thank you.
That's great. And Joseph, what is the ultimate goal of the project itself?
I think, as Jenna said, number one is to have an intact forest, because without the forest, there's no project. Without the forest, then communities will suffer more. These forests play a very key role in survival. So that is number one. Number two is through the process that comes from the Red Plus project, is to make sure that we reinvest back the money so that the communities can see the benefits and address those focal issues that they need to be addressed. I think those are some of the big things that are key. But also, the livelihood projects that come with the project, the employment part, as Connie said, and the rest of the other things, because of key role. Thank you.